What's going on, folks? Master Trifecta here, finally getting around to making a video about BGS grading cards. Something I like to do. Not a whole lot of people do it, like in our little MMA collecting community, but I figured since I'm the one that's doing it the most, why not make a video to share some of my knowledge with you, maybe spark some cool debate, and maybe we can all get some cards graded. But yeah, the card, this sparked a lot of debate. This was my most watched YouTube video, and I've received a lot of questions about grading cards and how do you go about doing it, what do you look for, what does it cost. So I just thought I would go over just a few of those things with you right now. This is a perfect example of why I like to grade cards, because this card really, it's not a huge mega card. Like, upon release, it was selling really well, but the prices have really settled down on this, especially since Gilbert lost. But when I saw this card, I just thought it was a cool looking card. The card itself was super clean, and I'll go through that here in just a moment. I like how the auto was centered on there, and it looked just like a really awesome example of this card. Ended up grading it. It cost me $8 to grade it, and I got a 9.5 on it. What I didn't know is that it didn't have a 10 auto on it. I had it graded out of the auto at a 9. And I'll go through that here in just a second. But this card, like, I looked at it on eBay just today, and the last one sold for $3. Now, when I put this up on eBay, I put this up last weekend. This card sold for within 3 days, and I had it listed at $50. I sold it for $45. So that ensures that you get top value. You know, the guys with the big bucks to spend, they like to grade. They like the nine. You know, there's those collectors out there that only have 9.5 everything, so they're gonna pay premium prices. And you know, on top of that, it's hard to get those. You know, it's hard to even get a 9.5 to begin with. And the first thing that you need to consider is, you know, like, what kind of card that you want to get graded. Personally, myself, you know, I want to make sure I pretty much kind of reserve it for only the super high-end stuff, or like a prospect. Like normal base cards and just regular inserts. I mean, if you're just a fan of that card or the whatnot, you know, go at it. I have some of those cards myself. But the reason that I kind of look to the grading is to kind of like protect my investment. You know, your cards are protected. Plus, you have, you know, Beckett. Beckett seems to be the name in the biz to get your cards graded by. PSA is another company. If you're going to do it, go with either one of those two companies. But first, I just want to, like, here's a card that I'm considering getting graded. And this card is super clean. Now, when I say super clean, the four things that, you know, Beckett's going to look for is the centering of the card, the edges, the corners, and the surface. With your super high-end cards, you always want to make sure that you, like, I never try to, you know, like, put my whole fingerprint on, or, you know, like, I always hold it from the edges. Reason being is surface is a thing that they grade. So, like, if you touch a card, like a prismatic card like this one, or foil, whatever the hell it's called, if you touch that and leave a fingerprint on it, you know, they're going to be able to see that. That's going to ding it. Even if you try to, like, buff your fingerprint off, you're still going to have that oil and residue left on that card. That's going to show up. Because they're going to put these things under magnifying glasses. They're going to know, you know, exactly what, if anything's been done to it. Now, like, whenever I try to examine the surface, like, there's a lamp. That reflection is coming off a lamp that's right behind the camera. And I basically just go over, like, you see how, you know, I'm just kind of tilting the card back and forth. I'm looking for any blemishes or nicks or, you know, anything out of the ordinary. And the very important thing about the card is that I think a lot of people just look at the front of the card, but you got to realize they're going to grade the back of the card too. So it's the overall look at your card. The centering on this, I mean, centering looks perfect to me. Granted, I don't have another Showtime Pettis to compare it to, but I'm going to call that centering, you know, good. Now, sometimes you'll be able to tell, like, it might be shifted up too high or too far down low. Might be off-center to the left or the right. So, you know, if you do have, like with some of, like, parallel cards, if you happen to have, like, a base card or something like that you can compare it to, you can kind of, you know, make sure they're kind of matched up the same. The corners are, you know, that's the most crucial. That's where you're going to get dinged the hardest on. And the thing about this one is that these corners seem to be absolutely perfect. Let me see if I can get my camera to focus so you can get an idea of how. There's not a fluff. It's just completely sharp. The top of this card, it kind of looks like just a picture, like it was stamped on top of it. And there's kind of like, there's like no blemishes or anything on it. It's just completely sharp. On the back, like, I'm looking towards the dark color areas. Like, I'm looking to see if there's, like, any fraying or, like, there are any dings on the corner. And there's not. Again, even on the back of the card, you know, you're still going to have, like, shine on the back of it. But you still need to examine that, too. Make sure you see if there's any fingerprints or any blemishes or nicks or anything, because they're all going to take that into consideration on the card. But yeah, also another thing to consider is that, you know, you want to look along the sides of the card. I don't even know if that's showing up on camera, but you know, if things like, you know, if you see like a dent or a ding or like a discoloration or anything on the ends of the card, you know, that's going to be dinged as well. Grading cards is an expensive, I guess you could call it, just grading cards in itself is a hobby, but you only want to send in what you think you have a shot at getting the highest grades. You know, like if you have like a low number card, it might even make it harder to sell that card, you know. Compared to some, because, you know, like the people that are buying graded cards, they're looking for the highest grades. They're not looking to buy like an 8.5 or a 9. Maybe the guys that are, you know, like just getting into the hobby or just want to pick up something nice for their PC, those are the guys that are going after those cards. You know, the top collectors that are shelling out the big bucks, they're going for the 9.5s and the 10s. And that's, you know, like if I'm doing business, I want to do business with those guys. But this is a super clean card. So yeah, more than likely it's getting graded, and I think it'll grade out pretty high. Now with the autographs, you always want to make sure, especially with the sticker autographs, you always want to make sure their autographs are always completely on the card or on the sticker. Like if the ink runs off the sticker, they're going to dock that a 9. Or if it's an on-card auto and it runs off the side of the card, they'll dock that as a 9 too. You're also looking for all the ink to be like solid throughout. You don't want any light areas. See how that's all solid, thick blue throughout the whole thing? That would be a 10 autograph. Now see, I thought that this Gilbert Melendez right here, I thought that was a 10 autograph. But see how it kind of, I don't know if it shows up as well on cam, but see how it lightens up right here? That actually made it a 9 because it got light right in here. This is all dark, thick blue, but here it's like light. And that actually docked it a 9. And that was part of the reason why I sold this, because it was a 9.59. You know, also, like, you know, BGS, they also authenticate cards. Like, you can tell them I only want my cards graded at like a 9.5, and anything lower, I just want them authenticated only. Like, this is what I did, for example, on this Russell Westbrook draft day rookie card. I guess you know, this card might only have graded out at a 9. I just only did one submission like that. But I was like, if it doesn't grade out at a 9.5, I just want it authenticated only. And that's just to let people know that, you know, this is a hot rookie card. It's worth money and very collectible. And that's to let people know that, you know, that maybe not have graded out that high, but at least you know you're buying a real card. And there are a lot of fakes going around on eBay, especially, you know, rookie years, Thunder players, Westbrook and Kevin Durant, who I collect. That's something I definitely have to keep aware of. But yeah, with you know, if everything works out in your favor as far as, you know, going through everything, hopefully you'll end up with one of these. This is my only perfect 10 I've ever gotten. Perfect 10, centering 10, edges 10, surface 10. This is a Bradley Beal's Prestigious Picks rookie autograph. Very nice card. 10-10. Those are so insanely hard. I've submitted 5 times, and that's the only 10 I've ever got. I also wanted to show this card off. This is like a card I would not submit. And I'm really hoping this stuff shows up on camera. But this is a black card. Anything on black cards, everything's going to show up on them. If the card's really heavy with black, I generally I'm not even going to grade it. But if you can see right here on this corner, there's fraying on the edge. See, like how it has white, like right, it's not, and it also has a touch of white on the corner. But it has fraying right here on the side. And it kind of goes around the card. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's also up here too. Here in the middle, it's like it's been rubbed up, like it got brushed against something and pushed it back. Down here, if you kind of look at the corners right here, it's got a white corner. It has more fraying down here on the red. And there's another white corner. So see that right there? To me, that probably wouldn't even get a 9. That's probably like an 8.5. Because it has the fraying. It has a touch of white on the corners on the back. See how it has black and you can see the white fraying on the ends? There's enough fraying there that, like, maybe if it just has like a touch of white, you know, just like one little tiny white corner, it's not going to ding you as bad. But since, you know, it goes all the way around the card and it's visible on both sides, I wouldn't even bother with something like that. Don't really see it. The edges on here look good. So, you know, you always want to make sure that the card lays flat as well. Like, you know, sometimes you'll get cards out of packs that are kind of got like a slight warp to them. That's another thing to consider. But yeah, the thing that turns me off about this card is that it's got all the fraying along the edges, up and down in here. And I'm hoping that shows up on camera so you can kind of get an idea of, you know, just something to look for. But yeah, whenever you submit your cards, they want you to submit them into, they're called semi-rigids. You guys have probably seen these things. They've been around forever. Let me see if I got an example of one in one right now. Yeah, like here's one that's going to be, here's a Russell Westbrook. They fit in there really snug. They don't, like, you know, not in like the top loaders, you know how sometimes they move around. They're not going to move around in these. And whenever you send them, you know, you always want to send them in a box. I'd advise, you know, like sending them to BGS, send them in a box, not an envelope. But I usually just lay them flat, you know, just like this, because, you know, like right there, they're, you know, like just all solid. And just lay them between like 2 pieces of cardboard. You know, just like sandwich them in there. You get the idea. Sandwich them in there, just, you know, maybe wrap some bubble wrap around them. But you just don't want them to, you know, be moving around or anything whenever you send it to them. It's kind of like pretty simple stuff. I know a lot of you guys are excellent packers, so you shouldn't have any problems on that front. But yeah, I just wanted to go through the order form with you. This is the Beckett order form, and you can get this off their website. But basically, you know, before you package up your cards, you're going to have to make an inventory of everything on here. You just let this, you know, the sport, the quantity, what year, you know, the set name it's from, the card number, the player name, and you're also going to have to declare value. Values over here. And the reason that you're declaring value is because of the insurance that you'll be paying to, you know, you pay insurance when you send it to them, and you also pay insurance when they send it back to you. But they have, it all depends, the price is how many cards that you submit and how fast you want them back. And here's a, you know, here's an example of what they have. Like if you, the thing that I use the most is usually like the 20 day is popular. That's one full business month. 20 days. That's 20 business days, like Monday through Friday. You know, I usually do like 15 cards. Like it costs $11 per card right there. They also charge, like if you have a certified autograph, it costs an extra $2, so it can be like $13 per card. And see, this is why group submissions are more popular. Like the more cards that you submit at one time, the cheaper it's going to be. Like if you do 100 cards at 45 days, that's almost, you know, almost 2 months to get your cards back. It's $8 a card. So there's just a number of different ways that, you know, it just depends on what best suit your needs. The thing that I like the most is that Beckett always has a monthly promotion. They're always like testing different promotions out. So if you go to BeckettGradingServices.com, their official website, on the right hand side of the page they always have like a promo offer over there where it's usually cheaper. They, you know, like they have some, you know, you'll see it on there, but it's usually almost always cheaper than this. So that's the one thing I'm always aware of. I've submitted with them 5 times, and I also get emails from salesmen at Beckett. You know, like I don't know if they're just looking to fill quotas or exactly what they're doing there, but they send me emails with their own prices that are pretty cheap, you know, just to get me to, you know, submit more. But usually like $8 per card, you know, like whenever you see it online the most, it's usually $8 per card because they're usually doing a group submission where they're getting a whole bunch of cards together all at once. But yeah, I would definitely suggest that, like, if you do have some cards that you're wanting, it's better to submit like more at the same time because you end up saving money as opposed to just doing a little bit at a time. I would just save all your money up until you have all the money ready to go at once and just do it in one shot. But yeah, you figure your bill here. You take your total number of cards, and you know whatever your grading service level is, you multiply it. You add however many autographs. It's $2 per autograph. And down here you have return insurance and return postage. And that's where you fill that out on where you fill this out on the back. You have all your different, depending on how many cards you sent in or whatever, this is how much you have to pay to have it sent back. If you want it in 2 days, overnight, express ground, you have all these different ones. I usually do like less than 20 cards at a time, so it usually costs about 15 bucks. So get that to focus in. And also the insurance, you have to figure out your total number of insurance whenever you send it in. So all those values that you wrote down of your cards, you're going to total all that up at the end of your order, and then you'll pay this insurance fee. and this is to cover the insurance when they send it back to you. Now, when you send the cards to them in the mail, you need to get insurance on your end. And I like to take pictures. You know, I make it, after this is all completely filled out, I make a photocopy of this on my scanner, and I also take pictures of all the cards that I'm sending. Because I haven't had any problems with anything can happen when you're sending your cards off in the mail. But I just like to have that reassurance that, I got, at least I have, like a copy of what I sent and a picture of all the cards to help, aid me if that ever does arise. But if you ever, if you do have to file a claim with USPS, they're going to ask for proof that you had all this stuff sent. So it's good to do that just to cover your own ass. But yeah, I'm hoping this video has been 20 minutes long of me just kind of rambling about graded cards. But hopefully I can give you guys a few things to think about. If you guys are interested in maybe getting some cards graded, if you have questions of your own, or if you want me to take a look at a card to see if you think it's worth grading, feel free to give me a shout. Twitter.com/MasterTrifecta. I'll be happy to share, any of my knowledge with you guys, and, hopefully you can get you some sick 9.5s and some 10s in the mail, too. But thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Until the next time, take it easy, guys. Peace.